Today we're going to be talking about an emotion that affects us all, stress. Now, for a lot of people, when they hear stress, they immediately think of all the bad things associated with it. But stress can actually be a great thing when it's met with a positive response. When you feel stressed, it is pushing you forward. It is motivating you. Until you have too much stress and then it overwhelms you and causes you to shut down. Now, people do respond differently to stress, and you should really look into what it is you do when you're feeling overwhelmed. Do you overeat, undereat? Do you succeed and really push yourself forward? Take a look at all the times over the last week or two that you felt stressed, and then see what is a typical behavior that followed that. You really want to understand how you respond to stress so that you can kind of predict your behavior and then adapt it to a new way. For example, people who feel a lot of stress in school, for some, it motivates them. They study, they work hard, they get good grades. Others feel so overwhelmed that they don't study. There's just too much to learn. They shut down and do nothing. I'm sure a lot of you understand the saying, I had so much to do, so I did nothing. But that's not a positive response. And it's important for you to understand that if you behave that way, then you need to find the right spot. Understand how much load you have on. So a stress load is like the saying of the camel who has a bunch on his back and eventually one straw puts him over and he collapses. Just like you, if you have too much on your plate, you'll shut down and feel like giving up. And so understand how much you have currently. So in the workbook, you'll see a whole listing of different areas of your life. Fill in the document that shows how much stress you have in each realm, and then how important that stress is, and then if it's something you can change or something you have to accept. Another good option I find is sometimes you can replace one stress for another. For example, I had a stress that I need to lose weight, right? But instead of that, I replaced it with I need to drink water. So every time it came up in my mind, I need to lose weight, or I was feeling stressed over my body composition or something like that, I transformed it into an actual productive action, something I can do. Drinking water generally helps people lose weight because a lot of people misunderstand signals of thirst for hunger, and so they eat. Or whenever you're feeling stressed about something, you want to eat. You want something that relieves that stress. So understand and take a look at all the areas of your life and what's all causing you stress. See what you can control, what you have no control of. Find where that balance is. How much stress do you need to motivate you and push you forward? How much is too much? So the next thing you want to do is you want to find really good ways of managing your stress. Now, a lot of these techniques are covered in the rest and recovery section. Things like meditating, focusing on your breath, doing tense and release exercises. So whenever you feel really stressed, you can tense your whole body up and then relax. And you do that a couple of times, and it actually releases chemicals in your brain that helps you to be calm. So there's all these really cool techniques. I listed 10 in the workbook, but just like in all the other things, make sure that you write down 10 things that help you specifically and go through them. See which ones work better than others, which is a consistent thing that you can do to relieve your stress to get to that point where you're feeling balanced. And the last thing that I want to cover here is about building a gauge. Now, this is one of the most useful things you can do, and I highly recommend making this as specific to your goal and your way of life as possible. So, on a dial, on a gauge from 1 to 4, 1 being easy, 4 being hard, you want to pick actions in each of the categories, easy, medium hard, and hard, to do when your stress is or your motivation is low. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, maybe go to a 2 or a 1. A 1 would be something like a 5-minute walk, or drink a glass of water before a meal, or add a vegetable. Something that is so easy you can't say no to. And then this is really reserved for those times that you'd rather do nothing, but you still take an action step that moves you forward. Something is better than nothing. So taking one action is better than not doing anything, even if it's super small and unnoticeable. And then for 2 and 3, you want to live in this realm. So a 2 would be like a 10-minute walk. You don't really feel motivated, but you're not like exhausted. You're not completely overwhelmed. Maybe you replace one of your meals with vegetables, or if you're eating out, you decide to go with less food or a lower calorie if your goal is weight loss. And then for 3, 3 is where you should spend 80% of your time if you can. So if your goal is a 30-minute walk, eat more veggies, drink more water, sleep 7 hours, this realm. So in the goal section, you picked a couple of actions. This is where most of those should fit in. So go through and see which one's in each of those categories. And then for number 4 is when you're feeling motivated and excited. Maybe you have no stress and you feel like really achieving a lot that day. Maybe you go for an hour walk or a 30-minute jog. Maybe you stick to your meal plan 100% on those days. But have a gauge so that you know that when you don't feel like it, you still know what to do. And when you really feel like it, you know exactly what to do. It covers all realms of your motivation and stress. But it's also something you don't have to think about. So it kind of takes off a little bit of stress from you, because if you're like, oh, you know what, I'm too stressed, I don't feel like going to the gym, that's okay. You don't have to. You can do 10 jumping jacks and drink a glass of water. You can do something small, but still consistent. So that's it for stress. Not a big chapter, don't want to stress you out. But it's just about understanding yourself and understanding how you behave under stress, how you can replace it, how you can change the way you look at it, and then most importantly, build a gauge and figure out what is your level 1, what is your level 4, and then what is a 2 to 3. How do you live it? And then join me tomorrow for the next chapter, which is all about triggers, why you eat bad food in the first place, why you don't follow meal plans, the environmental factors that stop you from getting where you want.